Hey, what's up, everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down Cameron Ward's throwing motion. Or start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
We don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so this is my early college football season Heisman dark horse. I think that it's a lot of people starting to talk more about Cameron Ward. I know there's really a few different Pac-12 quarterbacks that are making a big splash with the beginning of the season. You got Caleb Williams, obviously. We got Michael Penix, and then also Shador Sanders are the top three other Pac-12 quarterbacks, but there's a lot of guys that are really good in the Pac-12 this year. I don't think that anyone is playing better than Cameron Ward, though. I mean, when you watch him play, I watch this game. I think Washington State has a great chance to be able to do really well within the Pac-12, and a lot of it is because of Cameron Ward. We'll go ahead and hop right into the breakdown here. And Cameron Ward is actually, I know he doesn't look like he's very big, but he's about 6'1.5", and he's also about 230. You can see this is going to be a deeper throw. I know there's a lot of people that talk about how the ball height is a thing. And we're actually seeing this be a bit of an issue with Bryce Young and his ball security in the NFL. And I think he also has kind of a low ball position, and it wasn't too big of an issue. I mean, he definitely did fumble in college. It wasn't like he, had like a clean slate when it came to ball security in college, but it wasn't like a big issue. But in the NFL, it seems like it's a lot bigger thing with having the ball lower. It does seem like it's a good thing for like your arm and being able to really load back within the shoulder and have plenty of ability to fully access the muscles within the shoulder when you're able to come from that lower position. But it also seems like it could be negatively impacting the ability to really put a lot on the football. So, there ends up being a bit of a give and take. And this is also one of the things that taking a risk on when you are in the NFL, when the quarterbacks aren't as big, they have to use a lot more of their body or a lot more range in order to get the same type of force behind the throw. And so I do think you could still get the ball out of your hands quickly. I do think you could still be really effective while being a shorter quarterback, but it's one of those things where, the bigger quarterbacks are able to have a little bit shorter load because they have a lot longer levers as they're going through the throw, so they don't have to spend as much time going back, or they don't have to take their arm through as big of a range of motion because they have the vectors to be able to still put the same type of velocity on the throw from really their whole body. And here's another really good throw here. So throwing it off to the side, this one we'll take a look to see how fast he's getting the ball out of his hand. So it's at 2.4 is when he starts the throw, or when the ball kind of first is leaving his hand. You could maybe even say 2.6. And then it looks like it's coming out at about 5.2. Okay, so he's right at about 0.3 there when it comes to his release time, a little bit under 0.3, 0.28 with that one. So obviously getting the ball out of his hands really quickly. This isn't a super deep throw, but that's one of the things that he does really well, and why he's having a lot of success here is because he does a really good job of being able to get the ball out of his hands fast and be able to still have a lot of force behind the throw. Here he does a really good job of putting it just in the right spot. Notice where his feet are lined up, right? So he's lined up with his feet, and this is such an underrated part of playing the quarterback position is he goes here and he is setting up to be able to really throw this hitch route, right? And he's doing that for probably a variety of reasons, but I know one of the things is, in a lot of senses, his mind and body is going to be, going here. So everything is kind of set up, and right when he gets to probably about right here, even though he's looking at this, he's still in his mind saying, I can always throw it back down to the quick hitch, right? But by this time, what in his mind, he's starting to see he likes the matchup, and he's deciding he's going to throw this deeper throw, right, and taking a shot here. But how he's lining up to be able to get the ball out to the hitch, and then still ends up just throwing. He doesn't reset his feet, he doesn't have to do anything. He just goes and is able to throw the football downfield and really make a great throw. Here's another great throw. Look at this. He goes quick 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. right? And that's what's big about this, right? Is you got to be able to take a good first step. So that first step, if we say his toe is on the 19-yard line there, right? When he's starting, when he first gets the ball, ball's at his foot's at the 19. He kind of takes a little quick step there, but really it's a 3-step boom. So now he's back at about the 16 and a half ish, 17-yard line. Okay. And then he's just sitting with his weight on that back leg. And then notice what he does here. He decides he's going to throw. I mean, again, that ball's really low, but look at how he rotates there with that hip. He initiates the throw with that rotation within the hip. And then from there, just is able to drive that elbow all the way through and really puts the ball right on the money, right? Is able to get the ball and have a lot of force behind it and throw that deep out from the other sideline, right? So see here, he's got a low position, but just gets those hips to be able to rotate and is able to, again, throw the ball all the way across the field that quickly. And he does a great job of running the offense, right? You watch them play and you could just see, here's another one where he just gets the ball. This play didn't end up having very much success to it, but he gets the ball quick, has his feet set up, gets the ball out of his hands, and again, it ends up getting blown up, but that becomes very hard to defend from a defensive perspective. That's why, in the NFL, they have such close hash marks, because by being able to create all this space here, if you're able to get the ball out quickly to the different sides of the field and also have the size that, again, in the NFL or even in college football, a lot of these linemen are big. And so it's really hard to be able to stop an offense that can create so much leverage downhill while also be able to get the ball out to the perimeter very quickly with some very fast guys. That's why, SC is doing a lot of the same type of stuff within their offense. Here's another really nice throw, right, where he's sitting back, does a great job of being able to rotate into that front hip. Look at how good he does it, just hip rotation as he's getting through the throw. And then he's just throwing the ball on time and has plenty of separation from the defense with his receivers, right? And this is why they're creating a lot of difficulty. This is 3rd and 10. They weren't able to get very much going running the ball because, just by them trying to run the ball. So Oregon State is really committing to stopping the run, right? Now it's 3rd and 10. They're saying, we're going to pressure you. We're going to try to make it so you get the ball out of your hand earlier, or at least we're going to show that. And so he's like, okay, well, I'm going to hold the safety, right? He tries to hold the safety. And once he sees that safety take off like that, now he immediately puts his eyes here, probably sees that this guy's going man coverage. He's thinking, man, all right, if I can get some separation here, and he sees that his receiver has separation there, so he gets the ball out of his hand. He hasn't even started the break yet. And look, he's going to throw this. The receiver hasn't even started to slow down, right? By the time the ball gets out of his hands, he's slowing down, and he puts that ball right where it needs to be, and it turns into a touchdown, right? So those types of things are critical, right? If he doesn't have enough separation here as the receiver is catching the ball, he doesn't end up scoring right there. He just gets, they probably get a first down, right? They probably keep the drive alive, but because he's able to catch the ball and have so much ability to really have that separation, be able to make a move, be able to make it so the defender misses the tackle. Now it's man coverage. Now, you make a couple guys miss and ends up being a big play, ends up being a touchdown. So this is the big thing, though. To me, Cam Ward had no stars, unrated, right? This is and I know Stetson Bennett was in a similar situation last year, and a lot of people talked about him. But the thing about Stetson Bennett is, yeah, he's a national champion and, did really well and is a great leader and has a lot of great benefits and made it to the NFL, plays for the Rams. But that is a lot different than being a potential Heisman winner, right? Because now we're talking about being amongst the best players in the nation. I don't know, obviously Baker Mayfield won the Heisman as a, very underrated player, but ended up going to Incarnate World, Offensive Player of the Year in 2021, and then went to Fresno State last year. Last year was his first season, and has been doing great, right? He went from being no star to then when he was changing schools, I want to say he was like the number 22 prospect when he was changing schools. Okay, another great way to be able to see how fast he's able to get that hip to rotate, right? How he really starts here, so he loads, and then see how he gets that rotation. This is similar to what we see with like Patrick Mahomes as well, how they like push and rotate and get those hips to go, and then use that momentum within their lower half to then create the velocity needed within the rotation of the spine, and then use that to then really put a lot on the football. And I do think you have to be really aware of where the ball is in your hand, and the timing behind the release. And we talk a lot about that when it comes to the elbow, when it comes to the wrist, and making sure that those are all timed out really well. This isn't the highest quality video. I wanted to get something that was recent here. But what is important is to be able to see that there's a certain timing that has to be effectively produced in order for you to get the best results. And I think that Cameron Ward does a really good job of being able to stick to that timing and be consistent with that timing, which is why we see him be able to throw to so many different parts of the field and be so consistently effective while doing that. So, I mean, just wanted to give you guys a little bit more insight about Cameron Ward. I do love the story, right? When you start to research a little bit more about him, it really makes you be more of a fan of him, want to see him succeed more, right? Just because, that underdog mentality, I think a lot of us carry that underdog mentality, and something that really drives us. And Cameron Ward's obviously somebody that is, he had a lot of success. Again, he was the 2021 Offensive Player of the Year at Incarnate World, which is like a FCS. They lost to Sam Houston State. He threw for like 4,000 yards. They had a lot of success there. Went to Washington State last year. I mean, they did well. They played well. I think didn't win as many games as they wanted to. They struggled against Oregon. They struggled against USC. Played well against Washington, though. Played well against Utah. So, there's a lot of good things. And the fact that they beat Oregon State this year really shows a lot. I think they played Oregon State pretty tight last year, too. But it shows a lot that they have a team that could potentially do some damage, and they're going to be hard to stop. There's no doubt about it. They have two really good receivers, Cameron Ward. I mean, I'm excited to see what ends up happening within the Pac-12, even though I'm a UCLA fan. So I'll definitely be watching for that October 7th game when they play. But yeah, guys, if you like the information, click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, you can leave those down below. Any other people that you like us to do a breakdown on, would be happy to be able to take those considerations or those recommendations. And yeah, I mean, if you are interested in learning more about what we do from a quarterback perspective, we have a lot of stuff in the description down below in terms of programs and like video tutorials, and just way to be able to help quarterbacks improve when it comes to their overall performance. There's a lot of people that I think have been watching this channel for a while and have started to get some really good benefits just by picking up some of the information that we give when it comes to the wrist and some of the sequencing and the timing and just playing a quarterback overall. And I do say that if you really get some specific coaching, it just takes all that information and puts it to a whole nother level, because now we're going to be able to get very specific into what it is that you need to work on within the throw, give you some drills, give you some exercises, make it so you have an actual progression instead of really just trying to kind of guess yourself into being able to throw the ball better. But I mean, with that being said, if you know exactly what you need to work on and you already have that understanding, then there's a lot of free stuff that we have on our YouTube channel, which is why I say like the video, subscribe. That really helps us out a ton. And again, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.